Hey Puffers, Andrew here, checking in again from Hungary. And today actually I'm coming with a little bit of technical video. And first, I didn't really wanted to make a video, at least it wasn't in my mind to make one, but remembering my starting out days and all the information I was looking for on the YouTube and on the internet, I figured I'm gonna just do it. Maybe somebody's going to find this helpful. If not, whatever, I'm gonna do it anyways. So let's get into this one. So this is, maybe some of you really seasoned experts can tell that this is Cornell and Deal's Haunted Bookshop. And as much as I like the flavors, I really have to work hard to get there. What I find is, for me at least, this is just too dry. I mean, Cornell and Deal comes really dry with their blends, but they don't really work for me that way. Obviously, no drying time at all when I was smoking these, because I could already feel that it's going to be dry. Now, if you're a beginner, how do you feel if a tobacco is going to be dry? Maybe you're going to like it more on the dry side, but this is some kind of a general tip for you guys out there who are starting to tell if this is dry, if it needs to be probably get a bit of moisture back into it later on, or if it needs to be dried out or something. So I actually use kind of a two types of methods. I don't really remember where I found these. One of them is pretty self-explanatory, or at least it was for me when after you start to work with all kinds of tobaccos. That is the sound. If you listen to this Haunted Bookshop, I don't know if you can hear, but it has a really dry sound. These when you crumble together the tobacco, it's like you can almost hear a kind of a sound like when you have sand in your hands and you're dropping sand, and when you work them together. Now, when you get a little bit moist tobacco, or at least at the good moisture content, it doesn't give out this this high sound of sand going through your fingers. It gives kind of a more of a well, how to put it, more of a low sound, and it doesn't really give out anything like this. But you probably will know what I mean when you try this one out, especially in the fall, in the autumn time that I'm recording this video at. You can basically experience this on the streets, or above, or sorry, below the trees. When you step on a really dry leaves, you get this real cranky sound all around. But when you step on leaves from a walnut tree after a rainfall or something, it's really soft. Also the sound is soft, so to say, and when you step on it, you feel that it's not breaking up with each step. So that's the sound. Now, the other way I usually tell is I grab a bunch of tobaccos, I grab a pinch of it, and I really squeeze it together. And after you really squeezed it together, if you drop it, if it's the right moisture content, at least for me, it doesn't break up immediately, at least. It stays together just a bit like a sponge does, and it expands over time. Now, obviously, if it just, you pinch it together and it just stays there like a ball, it drops and it doesn't really expand, and it has a pretty much weight to it, then it's too moist. If it just expands immediately like this one does, Haunted Bookshop for me, I squeeze it as hard as I can and I drop it, and it just falls out in parts right away. So that's basically the two signs, the two tells I can tell that it's the tobacco is too dry. So this one for me is too dry, and I'm not only saying that just because I did these two methods. I also say that because, and let me just bring my pipe here. Alright, so here's my 7LA 673 I use for Burley blends, 400 bookshop of course. So when I pack this pipe, hopefully the camera is focusing on it. So when I pack this pipe, and I pack, you know, any pipe, not only this one particularly, but any pipe, you know, in my collection, and any tobacco. So when you pack your pipe, and you notice that harsh, kind of harsh, ashy taste and feeling at the back of your mouth, you know that it's too dry, the tobacco, and it's because it burns just too hot. And what I found is the more the drier the tobacco is, the more I need to compress the tobacco inside of the pipe, and it helps a lot because you know, all those air pockets makes, you know, when you light your pipe and it's not compressed enough, there's a lot of air going through, there's a lot of air pockets in it, and if it's really dry, all the tobacco on the top is going to burn in itself, and the smoke is not going to through all the tobacco here in that effective manner than you know, when the tobacco is pressed correctly. So I usually notice that with dry tobaccos that I use my usual packing method, which works just great for a lot of tobacco types. But if it's a dry tobacco and I just pack it as I would any other time, I need to tamp more, I need to keep it compressed more to just you know, work against that dryness, that speed that the tobacco is burning. I need to, you know, slow it down, and I need to put away the pipe more, and I need to, you know, work at the tobacco more. So it's a whole lot of fuss, and that's how basically I noticed that the tobacco is too dry. Now, for a lot of you guys out there who's starting out tobacco smoking, they might be you know, just being put away by this experience. You know, the tobacco, you know, you don't really like the tobacco, how it tastes, but what you don't know is it's not really the taste that is bothering you. It's rather than that beginners tend to smoke really hard and fast anyways, and if they you know, work with a tobacco like this and they are not experienced, it's really highly likely that they are going to get even more burnt in their mouth, and it's you know, it's not a good experience. I'm not saying that this tobacco is unsmokable from the tin. A lot of people like it this way, and it can be worked, and a lot of people obviously have really different tolerance in terms of how hot or how harsh tobaccos they can smoke. I'm just saying this one for me doesn't work. So here's the video, and what I'm going to do to make it work, because I really like the taste when I can get it out of it. What I'm going to do is, actually, this is a little, well, sprinkler. I don't know how we call it in English, but I have kind of a bonsai. I'm not really a whole lot into the bonsai hobby or anything, so I'm really not an expert. I'm far from it. But I have one tree I want to keep alive for the long run. So it's kind of a really minor side hobby of mine. And I have a real sprinkler for it, which is filled with distilled water, and it's not for the bonsai itself. I actually have a carnivorous plant as well, if I'm going to just show you in a minute. Alright, so it's pretty late in the night, but you probably can tell now. So there's a bonsai, there's the little plant as well. I think it's a Dioneo or Dioneo. This one needs distilled water. So for that plant, I use this one to keep the little area that I hold them in to be on the proper air moisture level. And I figured I'm gonna use it for moisturing my tobacco as well, because I don't really want anything else soaking up in the tobacco other than H2O, you know, other than water. I don't need any you know, things that the city water contains, you know, which is okay for people. I mean, they are there to clean the water, to make it cleaner, etc., etc., but I don't need it in the tobacco. So, but for all you beginners out there, it's not really a big deal if you use tap water, I think. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just spread this one out as much as I can, and I'm gonna just give it I'm gonna get it worked up again. And what I'm doing right now is I just use the two methods I described, the sound and the pinch method. And you can already see that. Let me just show you from a closer angle. So you can already see that if I take a pinch here and I just press it together, you see, it just drops down and expands slowly. Maybe I even used a bit too much of a water. As you can see, the expansion is pretty slow. But you see, here it is. Before I couldn't hold this tobacco like this, you know, staying and wait for it to expand in my between my fingers. It's not a problem if you think it's too much that you gave to it. I mean, the water is too much. You can just, you know, spread it out, what I'm going to do, I think. And I can already feel that it's a bit damp. And well, it's based on experience, but it's not really rocket science. So I already feel that it's a bit too dry for me to be on a perfect level. It's not really a problem. You can't really mess up anything. I'm just gonna spread it out right now. You know, feel that all the parts are kind of a good moisture level. I'm gonna just let it out to dry for 5-15 minutes or so, which I think is just going to be enough.